Well, what's up, you guys? Here's something to really tell you guys about farm trucks you should really look at. You know, that whenever I bought my truck and things, and this is something I probably might have talked about, but I don't know if I probably really did, but it's a little bit more of an update about my farm truck and things. But, a lot of these guys drive them out there in the field, and sometimes, people really don't ever wash out their undercarriage like they probably should, which I really do think it's a good idea to do that because of there are some things you really need to be able to catch whenever you got to do maintenance because it's like whenever you see roadside salt, you never know when something breaks and you can't see the problem because it's covered up in dirt and grease. But, you know, a lot of these people can have greasy vehicles where you have to end up taking a paper towel and wipe off some of the grease. And then sometimes people really do spray their frames with oil to prevent rust. And this is really some about rust in general that I really would say that, if you have oil in your frame and all that, it can't rust. And, as much as I'm stating this stuff and things and all that, and whenever you guys have to replace your components or anything, if you ever work on your car or somebody else got to work on it, here's another thing I really will tell you guys, which is some is really a good idea and all, but you guys should probably look up what a knuckle buster is. It's somewhere you end up turn a wrench a certain way and you can break your knuckle, or either you could probably break your wrist. It's like the way I move my wrist and all that. You probably could, like, I don't know how to say it, move your wrist the wrong way and it's not really moving like it should. I'm just showing my wrist and all that to like explain what the heck's going on with that. So, and here's what else about the farm truck that you guys should probably understand. You know, anytime you change out your radiator and all that stuff and things, or your thermostat, they can be a little bit of problem at first and things and all that, but I really would say if you're ever going to change out your thermostat, have somebody else probably do it if you're concerned about leaking, because sometimes the gaskets can be a problem. And, with your reservoir tank, the thing about this one I really would state to me altogether, and I don't know if anybody else could end up having this problem, to be honest, is that sometimes these reservoir tanks, you have to get a new one because of you have some really dirty stuff looking up in it, and it's just you don't want that going in and out of the reservoir tank, and have to end up kind of thing a radiator radiator coolant around your vehicle just to make sure you have plenty. And sometimes your reservoir tank gets randomly low. You don't know what all's causing it for the tank to get low and all this and all that, but it's actually happened to me a bit of times, and it's not bad, but I'm actually like, you know, looking at my reservoir tank a little bit more. And then, here's something else anybody should basically do is common maintenance, is probably check your oil level and all that, your tire pressure, because of, your oil level is really important to know that because it can affect gas mileage, it can affect of, your performance of your motor. That's something else. And then, here's something else I'm going to state. As much as I look at my suspension and all, and for it being an F-150 and it has a F-250 overload suspension, you could say, here's the thing about this I'm really looking at. You know, these frames and all, whenever you can upgrade these things and all, here's the thing about upgrading your frame. I don't want it to be like, okay, I am putting strain up on my frame to where it's more than it can handle. And, you know, it's not a bad idea to have F-250 overloads, but still altogether, you still should look at your capacity, what your vehicle can handle itself, from like the motor and all. And these frames, I can straight up state, these half-ton frames compared to these three-quarter ton frames, the only difference of it is it's like the three-quarter ton frame is just they're a little bit more heavier. And they're a little bit more stronger, and they can handle a little bit more. And you know, it basically depends on what you're doing too. But a lot of people, whenever they're trying to end up changing out frames, suspension, and all this stuff and things, you know, there are some things that I really can tell you guys that a lot of people don't ever do. Just miss alone. You know, and think about this. I've seen people overhaul trucks. I've seen people overhaul small ones. It's like these old Ford Rangers and these S10s, some of these people don't ever put the right stuff up in their vehicles. So I feel like, for one, be like, if you're going to put like a certain load capacity and all that, some of the times these leaf springs you have can't handle all that stuff. But sometimes in me altogether, you're going to have to end up, see what company actually specializes and builds these leaf springs and all. And then, I feel like just in the ride quality itself, increasing your low capacity. I feel like, whenever I was riding too, hitting bump stops and things and all, it's like these bad spots in the road. I really would say that they really mess up your front alignment a lot. And, driving around at nighttime, I have to dodge a lot of these bad spots because I feel like, depending on where you guys live at and things in what area, it could be a little bit kind of different because there's some spots on the road you can't miss. There's some spots on the road you can't even see. And I really would say, from that problem, you guys should really upgrade your headlights and your light bulbs, because there are some things you need to be able to see at nighttime. If you're going to be driving on a bad, like a bad ball joint, and you're driving your vehicle daily, here's one thing I really would say is that what I had to do myself. You know, I had to drive kind of slow because of this, to make sure I'm not hitting anything. And, it's like, just because you can drive fast and all, driving slow is not a bad idea, because you never know when you might have to end up stopping, and you never know, you might have to end up dodging something, and yet your vehicle's going to ride a lot better. I feel like with that, you're kind of saving yourself a little bit of a headache. So, I really don't want to keep this video too longer than it's got to be. So, like, comment, subscribe. That's about it. Peace.